I'm not going to claim this and try to present it as this is what reality is and I know.
Yeah.
That's where is generally the main thing. When somebody claims to know something, you run in the other direction, in metaphorically speaking, because the one that really knows, they don't need to say that they know.
Yeah.
You know?
Because they know.
You know. Because it's not even know or not, it's like you're just in your, you're in your knowing, you're in your heart frequency. You don't have to claim anything as truth. It is. It just is. And those who will vibrate with it, they also don't need to try to even say if it's true or not true. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. But in in the more micro layers of reality, there are truths. And then there are truths, and then there's truths.
Yeah.
And
everybody has their own truth.
It's like there's as true as they can be untrue, and everything in between. And there are actual truths too, you know. Somebody's physically hurt. That is something that it's true. It's not about going into like, oh, well, the truth is just perception. Yeah, that's from the, but it doesn't matter. It's all from that higher place. That's what's scary, where people use in this reality here. That's the problem. Everybody's screaming at each other, and all they care about is being right. My truth. They cannot communicate or put their heads together to come up with an idea or solution or something beautiful or fun or some expansion of growth.
It's gonna start.
Best,
it will start when they start recognizing each other. That's it. That's the only time.
Yeah, I was gonna say though that here in 3D reality, what is the one exception where that does happen, where there is no conflict of truths or ideas or conversation? When does that happen? That happens when people play music together. That is the only time.
Yeah.
Music, when you jam, with a group of musicians, people are just playing. They're not.
This is the perfect in-tune conversation, yeah.
Yeah, you're in a flow. It's an in-tune, understanding conversation that doesn't need to be right.
Yeah.
And if somebody comes, let's say a musician, and they're playing out of tune and stuff with the band's simply going to move away from that, You don't want an out-of-tune instrument in your... But you don't go even care about telling them they're wrong, or it's just... Find another, group of...
It's a frequency.
Yeah.
You cannot resonate with some frequency.
Yeah, and it naturally will move away.
Yeah.
Because... Yeah, it naturally moves away. And here, it's like... We should just naturally move away from something you don't resonate with without polarity and charge. And instead, it's a constant here, yelling over one another everybody wants to be right.
And everybody are hurt.
But
over and over.
In so many ways, it's like we should ask ourselves, how are we wrong? Where am I wrong? Where can I be wrong? What if I'm wrong, right? All the people that are like, I don't believe child, trafficking exists, or... Okay, fine. But just ask yourself, what if I'm wrong?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to, say that you believe either one.
Yeah, but, yeah.
But what if I am wrong and it does? Then what? And if we can all just always in every moment ask ourselves, how in this moment am I wrong? Instead of only focusing on how we are right, that is what will bring recognition, what you're saying. Because you then become seeing truly, it's almost like you step into a potential experience of another. You see their perspective, and if they do the same thing, they can try to see your perspective, so it merges the two. You can come to some kind of
you start knowing each
conclusion
other.
or understanding, like knowing what you're saying, of intimacy, or resolve, simply like if two politicians came and instead of how am I right, each one of them said how am I wrong, each of them, and try to see the other's perspective, we can do amazing things on,
How long we have to wait for that?
However long it takes.
No, it's a boring game in some way or other.
Well, the game's been played out. That's why we're just, again, pulling the dream awake, the leftover shard pieces that were the survivors of, like, that didn't completely check out and go, well, fuck this shit. So obviously, like, there was still something that kept us, again, life, like how life wants to live, and everything, and we are proof of that. Like we want to experience ourselves and others, and again, like, I hope that source, it asks itself, how am I wrong? How was I wrong? Right? Because that's where, in this game, right, universe game, let's say if source asks himself, how was I wrong? Then every universe that he, she, it, we create from there will continue with a lesson learned. And it implies to ask yourself, how am I wrong? How am I right is already in that. To be able to say, how am I wrong? You already need to see how you're right. We will always see how we're right, because it's always, whenever we're in a physical, like in a separate consciousness in some way, that'll always, we always know how we're right. Know in sense of belief, right? Or just thought. So when we ask ourselves, how are we wrong? It opens up whole possibilities of connection. And it also saves us from a lot of trouble. Like, if we ask ourselves sometimes beforehand, before a manifestation really starts taking its momentum, and we ask ourselves how we're wrong, we could save ourselves a lot of pain. But nobody wants to ask. If everybody today on this planet went, how am I wrong? We could save ourselves a lot of pain. And then you could see that we're more similar than different. And then it strengthens our similarities. And it also celebrates our differences. not in a sense of like a celebration, like it's more, I feel like when we celebrate something, it's almost like like a celebration can be in some way, I don't know if this is true or not right now, but like it can be something, negative or painful. It's a form of recognition, a celebration. Like a funeral, in some way, that is a celebration too, because it's another layer of a type of recognition.